Okay, what's up? So we are about to commentate and watch the last game of Group D. There's only one match remaining in the group stage overall after this, and they should already kind of start now. Let me see if they're playing. Not yet. Um, I guess we'll just wait until then. You have anything to add?
Anton is texting me right
Mm,
now.
Like, it doesn't want to let me join the game for some reason.
Mm,
Okay, he says he's challenged you. Okay, yeah, so there's some technical problems. I guess they can't really challenge each other. Not sure why, but
this happens.
this
quite
happens
often.
sometimes. Yeah.
We'll see if they find a way to solve it. Should we go back to the
Do what?
here? Let's see if they
I haven't started yet.
they have not started. So basically, yeah, Peter was talking about this is the final match of Group D, and we're almost into the playoffs. And obviously, the playoffs are going to be a lot more entertaining than this. We will get elimination. We will get a playoff bracket. I've always found those formats interesting, and so I'm really looking forward to the playoffs.
Yeah, same. So this game is like I hate to say, but kind of irrelevant because this match just determines who comes last and who comes second last. But at the same time, oh, they're playing right now. You can watch it. Okay, but oh wait. I'm not sure how to fix this. Maybe I can pin one of them. Because right now they kind of switched.
You can pause the stream for a while and then
I don't know. Maybe I can do this. No, that doesn't work. Wait, maybe. This is weird. Because they're at the wrong place right now. Maybe I can just. No, that's gonna be correct. It's gonna be very bad.
can't you put on the
But then
technical?
no, it's about the scene. So what I would have to do, I guess. Wait, can I just put the be right back? I think it's this one. Okay, so well, I guess I can do this and just change the names. So this would be like this. Okay, this worked. And we have this.
Oh,
Okay,
there you go.
perfect. So I'm not even sure if I got the ratings right, but whatever.
Yeah, should we go back to the game now?
We are back at the game. Oh well, I mean like this.
Okay, so what even happened here? Should we? Should
I
we...
guess it was just a London system, right?
Oh yeah, it's Anton. I forgot about that. It's honestly, I don't get how he has the energy to play such a setup.
But Daniel has thought for a long time. I wonder why that is.
Well, I think he's just usually a pretty slow player. I think we've seen him take a lot of time before, and I think he
True.
will perhaps continue to do so. Now, what about this position? What do you think of the move queen to b5?
I mean, these positions are rarely ever dangerous for black. I wouldn't take on b5 to open up the a file. I'd probably just go. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. Maybe queen c7, queen b7 also makes sense.
Maybe queen c7 is a bit more logical because white's only idea is really to play this
Yeah.
move pawn to a5. Goes to b7, but I was thinking maybe you allow pawn to a5 now.
Can you play a6 then, or queen takes b6, pawn takes, rook takes is maybe good
Well,
for white?
I thought it would be more logical to put the queen on c7 and then go for this a6 b5.
Yeah.
Oh, but a6 is not protected.
But maybe you can go b5 anyway, and the queen's kind of trapped or whatever.
Okay, so they exchanged pawns on c4. Honestly, I think that's just a poor decision from Anton.
Yeah, I should have already gone a5.
Yeah, because also positionally speaking, allowing this 3-on-2 here on the queen side here, black has 3 pawns, white has 2 pawns. It's not a good idea in general, and I think black could, for example, seize the upper hand with something like rook e4, or as he's played rook c8, id b5. I think Anton is just not understanding this position correctly, and I think Daniel, on the other hand, is definitely doing so. He's pushing this majority over here, but
Look at the time.
yeah, look at the time, 19 seconds left for Daniel, and this is never a good situation to be in. Only on move 27, Anton is still 2 minutes left on the clock.
All right. Okay, so
basically I would take black were it not
sure.
for the time.
Yeah, exactly. Now the question is, how do you continue as black, and how do you continue as white? I mean,
yeah, it's white to move. He played this move queen to e7. I'm not sure why.
Well, I guess it's okay.
D6. That's also a bit
maybe
strange.
94, rook to 8. Okay, so he's going for the exchange, and sure, this knight endgame would probably be preferable for black, unless it's a draw.
Now this is very close to winning.
Yeah.
Just push. Just I think he should have just pushed.
Yeah,
that was
true.
definitely a mistake. Now you're losing this pawn.
Not really. You can take with the knight here, but
okay, that's true. But you had to do this, and the knight goes to d4, and you actually do lose it now, anyways.
Yeah, because you can't defend rook c5 because back rank mate, and now black has some problems.
This is obviously a theoretical draw, but
yeah,
it's not so easy to hold.
This is that's a correct way.
Yeah, this is the way to do it. Because you need to. White usually needs to play this move pawn to g4, and black should be very happy to exchange pawns here, and Anton does it, but now it's a 3 against 2. This one should be pretty easy hold.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any real issues for black here, even practically speaking. That being said, obviously white is gonna try and he's gonna push, and Daniel only has 20 seconds. So.
I think this match might be one of the most even matchups so far. We've seen them get kind of similar results in the match against Martina and Vladimir. And yeah, although Daniel does have a higher rating in real life, we must not forget that Anton is a very strong blitz player as well.
Yeah, and especially I think Daniel, for example, in this game, Daniel clearly showed that he had some better positional understanding in the middle game. Yeah. Anton definitely did not choose the right way to go, but the time pressure kind of got to him, and he blundered upon, as usually happens, and you gotta give credit to Anton for playing so quickly. And usually in this type of time controls, you can prevail even if you don't find the correct moves at all times, and honestly, this is starting to look kind of dangerous now.
Okay.
The f pawn creeping forward. I guess it's still just a draw, but I feel like he's definitely made some progress.
You wouldn't want to exchange there, I don't think, but yeah, just rook f1 maybe.
I think he goes rook to f1. The problem for Anton is obviously that he has to shield the king at all times, and it's not so easy to do. He's gonna, I suppose, put the rook here, but honestly, I would just go with the rook all the way here and just try to check from this side. He insists on keeping the rook behind these pawns.
I don't think there's any problem with that.
I don't think so either. I think you.
I mean, king
go-
h5, rook f1, I guess is fine. Maybe rook f1 now as well, hitting the f5 pawn, king g4, and he's just gonna go back.
So he pushes this pawn, but now probably you can go king g6.
Yeah, now the g5 pawn can become a weakness. For example, king g4, rook g5. Now maybe rook f4 and rook f5.
And Anton has offered a draw.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a draw.
And yeah, the players have agreed to a draw. So
Flip the board.
Yeah. So we have a draw in the first game. And now we see Daniel with white pieces, and Anton opts for a. What do you think it will be? Grunfeld, probably?
Maybe. Bishop g7. I guess he plays the Grunfeld more. So c6. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes for c6.
This is probably the most solid response against the Catalan. Just a very balanced game.
Yeah, I should probably learn this one too. I've had so much issues in the other mainline King's Indians against the Fianchetto. It's such a solid system to play against. It's difficult to drum up your normal King's Indian style.
So I guess
play.
if he plays correctly here, he should take on c4 and play c5. Bishop f5, there's nothing wrong with that. You're gonna go a5 next and maybe a4. But I think the critical way is to take and play c5.
Yeah, that makes sense, exploiting this sort of opening up that white made with the move b3 here.
But bishop f5 is probably a bit more boring and very solid as well. I think it's good that Anton plays these boring lines, because Daniel is gonna think anyway. And if it's these like simple, easy positions to play, then he's gonna think unnecessarily. And in this instance, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with Black's position. Just go a5 here, or maybe take on c3. I'm not sure. Okay, so he takes on c4. I guess the idea is to go c5 anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
Takes and then c5, and it's a little bit difficult to deal with all the pins here.
You're probably gonna have to go something like e3.
But e3 is always, if you have to play the move pawn to e3, I think we're expecting c5 played. If you go e3, I will take the pawn, I will bring my knight to c6. Suddenly all my pieces are joining the attack, and well, white it's not really clear. White has developed his pieces, but
I totally agree. And look at the time once again. I mean, Anton has almost twice as much time, which is saying a lot. Because this position is not easy to play.
Yeah, and in this game,
with these weaknesses.
In contrast to the last game, this game is Black is already somewhat for choice, in my opinion, and that was not the case in the last game. So I think, and Daniel was obviously also starting with the white pieces in this one. So definitely Anton is in the driver's seat here, and we'll see what happens next. What are you expecting? I would like to be able to.
G4 is
knight
h4.
I was gonna mention this,
but I guess you can take on c3 and maybe even take on d4, then take on f5, take on c3, with b7. Yeah, that's actually really strong.
Yeah, I was thinking about this move. I completely forgot that b7 was hanging, which actually makes this move stronger than I was expecting. Because how do you deal with this? You have to take on c3.
What if you take on c3, bishop takes, and just return to c8? I mean, it's very ugly, but...
No, but I think you'd like... Okay, you could do that, but then white can perhaps go e3 or something.
Yeah, but what else are you going to do? Because if you take on c3...
Can you not take on
d4, but take on f5?
Take on f5, I take back. And you get
maybe
b7, I take c3.
Take on d8.
Yeah, the problem is that you can take d8, take
and
d8,
then you're just going to be an exchange up, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't look good. So you have to take this one. And now we can see that Anton is spending a bit of time. Maybe he's considering apologies, bishop takes d4 here.
Yeah, that seems logical as well.
Trying to use the pin along to this bishop. Okay, but he does take on c3. And we're expecting bishop takes. And he does go for pawn takes d4.
Here takes on f5 is almost automatic. I guess you can take on b7 as well. But...
If you take on c3, take on g7, right? because
Yeah.
that sort of kills.
Or take on d8 first.
Yeah, and then take on g7. But could the idea be that, like, if you take this, say that I take this, and say that you take that, do you think I'm just gonna play knight to c6 in that position and say that this knight is very trapped?
Sure, that could be interesting.
I think that's very interesting. So maybe he's just gonna take on b7.
But even then, like, take on f5, take on c3, maybe you can take on b7 then.
Takes on f5, and he takes back instantly. And he goes for this line, but I mean, either queen takes d8 or just take on a8, because okay,
then
take on
maybe
a8,
c2.
but you can take on d8 then.
Oh yeah, that's
Take
true.
in then rook c1. So
But then rook d2, but I guess...
yeah, but that could happen even if you took here.
Yeah, it takes... That's interesting, actually. So take on a8, c2, rook c1, rook d2, planning rook b2. Bishop b2, sorry. That could be very interesting.
That's his idea, maybe. So you have to play c2.
Yeah. That's...
Very strange.
But that's also interesting, no? Because next you go c2 and then knight b4.
Oh, I was gonna put the bishop on d5 block out the rook, but he
But
goes
still,
bishop
c2, it's the same thing, right?
No, but you have.
Yeah, but you
always
can go rook d2 then. After c2, rook c1, rook d2. And it's the same,
Oh,
except
yeah,
the bishop is on
yeah.
f3 instead of a8. And now we have knight b4 as a possibility. So you don't even have to go bishop b2. But that is strange, I think.
Yeah, that's very strange. I'm not really understanding the way Anton is playing this. Now you're not even able to play.
Yeah, but
c2.
rook d2 still. The bishop is, the pawn is defended, you're
But
threatening.
now rook d1, yeah.
Yeah, that's strong.
And now this rook is going to d8.
Or maybe you can go knight a4.
Knight where a4.
Yeah. With the idea knight b2. And then takes, rook d1, bishop c3.
But I go e3. I think.
But still, that's just a draw of knight b2, right?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, you can go rook f1.
And I could also have started. I could have taken and then played rook f1 and then e3. So I'm not sure about that. I would have taken on a2 anyways.
Okay. Yeah, but then rook d8,
and then just play bishop
and then
f8.
take on c3.
Oh, okay. Well, then you have to try something.
Yeah, I guess knight e4 is the only attempt.
Oh, I completely forgot c3 was hanging. Yeah, then he's in trouble here, probably. Knight a4 is just not really working, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the best try, no?
Yeah, it probably is.
He probably should have gone c2 first to not allow this rook d1 idea, but...
Yeah, I think he had serious compensation. I mean, more than with... He goes for the knight a4 move.
Now take on d2 is pretty much forced. Rook d1, bishop c3.
And he has to play e3,
yeah,
I suppose.
I mean, e4 is kind of necessary, but...
And now he's...
Okay, so he goes for this, which is a draw.
What? Why did he go for that?
Rook f1, knight c4, but...
Oh, the c4 pawn was hanging.
But I'm not sure how to evaluate that. I guess... I mean, this should be a draw, so that's a second draw in a row, which is crazy.
He went for that draw instantly, without even considering.
Yeah, maybe he didn't see rook f1 though, because I didn't see rook f1
but you could have gone to b1 also. Very strange.
Yeah, that's true.
Very strange. But maybe it was justified. I don't think...
Because knight takes c4, there's still a lot of compensation.
Yeah, it was no there was no clean win there for sure. Now he's gonna have to put the bishop here to defend the pawn.
Now this should objectively be a draw. I'm a bit confused by that though, because...
Yeah, same. It feels like you should go with the king here. But it looks pretty... Maybe e5 to try to push e4, but
still f3,
yeah,
and
F3
e4. Like, the thing is, this would probably be winning for Anton if he had if there was no increment, but now there's 3 + 2, right? So just e4 now. f4, there's g4.
I think they're gonna agree to draw in any moment. You can just put this pawn here. White can never attack any pawns. Black can never attack any pawns.
Yeah.
They're going to draw this one very, very soon. I'm suspecting. So that's the second draw, as you said. This was gonna be an even match, and I guess the players are proving that as well. And now we have the draw by repetition. 2 games have already been played, and 2 games have already been drawn.
Right. Okay. So
we get an English from Anton. I'm very happy to see this. I can't stand another long one or another bishop f5 early. At least now the bishop is not going to f4, which
I'm
is
a bit interested if he will go. Okay, so he goes for Neo Catalan. He does play the normal Catalan from time to time, but actually I'm a bit surprised about Castle. I thought he would go Queen A4, but
What's the move here? It's
Black
black.
I thought Queen A4 was what
Yeah,
he
I
was gonna
also
play,
thought.
but I mean Castle is probably good. Now the thing is, I don't play this, but I think he can go something like that, sure. Or maybe
I mean, I would be a bit interested to try to keep this pawn now with the white has played.
because there's a few ways white can try to recapture c4, and one is knight a3, although that allows bishop takes a3.
I know actually there is a line. I think it's maybe okay. No, there's a line played I think by Swedish Grandmaster Jonathan Westerberg, where he goes knight a3 pretty early. Black takes this knight, and you go queen a4 check, queen takes a3.
Okay.
Or maybe he just takes back actually, but he just gives up the c4 pawn.
But that's a very strong move, b5.
This is actually very similar to a game I once played in the Swedish Junior Championship in 2021 against William Olsson. It was not exactly this, but I got this b5 idea in, and I had a very good position. And I said earlier that the bishop was not going to go to f4, but apparently Anton has a...
He's playing the London anyway.
He has a real love for putting his... He has put the bishop on this square every single game so far. he played it. He played London in the first
he played
round.
bishop f5 as black.
Yeah, but that's the same thing.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
He played bishop f5 super early, and now he puts the bishop on f4. So he really enjoys the bishop on f4. And now he's trying to put pressure on this b5 pawn. But black should be fine, right?
Now if you go b4, white will be happy to get this c4 outpost for the knight, and then maybe even utilize that d6 weakness. So I'm not sure how Daniel is going to defend b5.
We have a couple of options. Queen b6 would be the most natural one, according to me. But I guess this pawn is always somewhat of a weakness. White can... that's a bit of an issue. That's another bit of an issue.
If you just clear the cache, it should work. Okay, now that just loads a bit longer, but it should work. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
And he's still thinking. We had some connection issues, and he's still thinking about this one. It's not such a weird move. He plays bishop to c6. This was another option that I was gonna mention. You can obviously also put your bishop here, but you have to watch out if there could be any uncomfortness on the c file exactly with a move like d4. I was gonna say that d4 might not be the best way, because either bishop to e4, getting away from the pin, or even c4, or even queen b6. I'm not sure how impressed I am by the move d4, but
what happens now if you play? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not at all impressed by d4. I was more thinking along the lines of can you play knight d4 and then a moment like...
What happens if you take...
knight d4 is definitely not possible, but maybe you could have taken and played b4, or maybe you could have played b4, although you had to watch out for such a move. But
what happens d4, queen b6, bishop e3, for example? I mean, I guess
bishop e3 is a move. He does not play that. I think bishop e3 you could have maybe played knight d5 then.
Oh yeah, and then take on c5. You just
take it back. I think.
Yeah, with the knight.
Maybe with the bishop.
I guess
have a pretty nice position. He goes here. I'm a bit surprised, because queen to b3 kind of feels like the bishop was doing a very good job on c6, and now...
Okay, so he gives up the b5 pawn.
That's very interesting, and is instantly declined by Anton.
Wait, I guess you take on a1, play rook b8, and then... No, wait, the bishop is defending b8 square.
Do you think he missed that the pawn was a? I
don't know.
I honestly think so. I can't understand why he wouldn't take it.
I mean, I guess there's some sort of compensation ideas, but queen e3 doesn't really...
I mean, this one is so awful, because now there are ideas of knight to g4, kicking the queen out. Queen is horrible on e3. Yeah. There's a pin over here. The knight on a3, the only point of putting it there was to take the pawn, and you didn't even take it when you had the chance. So what is your knight doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
I think once again...
it's almost like white has to exchange off the... But now knight g4. I thought white had to play like knight e1 or something. But...
Knight g4 is possible, but I guess he just wants to put the queen back on d2, and And he argues. Oh, but now he hangs the pawn again.
Does
But-
it though?
Oh no, he doesn't because he has knight b5.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I really like this move. That's a very annoying move to face because you wanna obviously attack.
What happens if you play knight e1 here? I guess if you play knight d5, there's bishop takes e4, but you can maybe take on g2 first. Knight takes and then knight d5.
with a good position, probably.
Yeah.
He brings the queen back, but now I think knight is gonna go to d5. The only good news for Anton is that his opponent has 19 seconds, but everything else is speaking in Daniel's favor.
Obviously, you can't really move the f3 knight anyway, because knight e5, for example, bishop takes u2, king takes g2, knight f4 is...
And now this
It's-
one is
yeah.
a weakness. If you go b3 here,
Now knight takes f4. Kind of
played,
ruins the structure, and...
but you're at least alive. There were so many variations where you
Knight
can
h5 though.
c8.
Knight
Brings the
e5.
knight
Oh yeah,
forward.
he defends the g2 pawn. I forgot about that.
I mean, Daniel has only 15 seconds. That's the good news for Anton.
But still,
here.
c3 is like kind of a threat now. So how do you defend against that?
c3 is indeed somewhat of a threat.
There's really no way of... Maybe you can go rook c2, but that's so painful. I mean, knight b4 or bishop b4.
Yeah, bishop b4 is also a massive threat. I think rook c2 was forced.
Yeah.
Because
I guess he...
okay,
Yeah,
but now
that's
he
also
hangs,
annoying,
but he
but-
hangs this pawn.
He does?
It's not been taken though.
But knight b6.
Knight f6, he goes for this one. f3 is forced, I think. After played. Now he gives this one. But okay, he's gonna change, and then he's gonna take on c3 with the rook, probably. Or with the pawn.
That b...
But
That
it-
b pawn is very dangerous, and white's king is just weak. I mean, all white is hoping for is some sort of trick. Rook c2 is a move here,
But
because...
he's almost running rook c2 is possible.
because
he
if queen
plays-
takes, you can just take with the pawn and
Oh,
promote.
he's just pushing the pawn to b2 now. That
Right.
might be very, very bad news.
Yeah, or rook c1
Rook
as well.
c1, and then this one is just gonna roll down the board. I think this is
I guess he has to like take on c1 and play knight d3 and then just sack the knight. I don't know.
yeah, I think so. I think there's just nothing else. You have to take this. You have to bring the knight to d3. You have to give it up on b2. But obviously, in such position, there is not really anything.
I guess
and-
maybe you can try to tricks. You can take on c1 and then takes knight d3, b2, and play something like queen c2.
but you just allow promotion.
Oh right, I thought
So
queen's
I
defending
think
against
you
that.
have to do this. And now they go for
Knight
swap.
c6.
Black is a full piece up, and also Anton is kind of losing his time advantage. But 3 seconds for Daniel.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
cannot relax yet.
Okay, f5, and then if takes knight e7.
Oh, 97 is clever. I did not see that.
Yeah, but
But
g6 and now
G6,
bishop e3 is next. This
And
is
this one falls.
very problematic. Okay, so bishop e3. But still, this is probably holdable in Blixt, just practically speaking. If you manage to exchange off all the pawns, even if you sack a knight for it, it's not certain that Daniel is going to be able to mate with a bishop and knight, especially in this time pressure, you know?
That's honestly somewhat true. I think
Yeah.
we might see something like that. Because in Blitz, I mean, everything is so difficult when you don't have any
Yeah.
time. But I like what Daniel is doing. He should be moving quickly, and it's okay to just move around aimlessly as long as he does it quickly because he can gain some time. And now he manages to. Honestly, he could perhaps even take
Yeah,
that.
that,
But that's obviously a bit risky to do.
but is it really that risky? I don't know, maybe.
Anton has traded 1 pawn, which
That's
is good
very
news.
useful for him.
But on the other hand, it allows Black to sort of activate a little bit on that side. The king is sort of pushing there.
If I was white here, I would just go around with the knights and try to fork, just out of time pressure.
Yeah, the knight is a tricky piece. You can, in so many instances, you can manage forks.
h4 maybe? You can't allow knight g5.
But that pawn is going to be weak. You're gonna have to keep an eye out for bishop g3 now.
King
Okay,
f3
so-
back.
Repetition.
Okay, so it's just important for black to not break with g5 because you cannot afford to exchange off another pawn.
But you also gotta find a way to sort of make contact to this white h pawn. That's the big weakness. And now he's gonna probably try to exchange knights on g4.
But remember, it's the wrong color bishop as well. So if you manage to,
But he's activating the king. King can go to d4 here. Knight goes back to f6. Knight goes to e3.
no, that one's, is it hanging?
It
I
is
guess.
hanging because king to d4 or king to d5.
This might
Or
be
even
the
king
first
e5.
win of the match.
And it has to go, but you can just chase it, and now you're able to just move this one back. Now one pawn is gone. This looks like really, really bad news, and you could even try a maneuver like, okay, he didn't try. He just brings the king back, and now he wants it on f5. Now you can put the bishop on e7, for example, and just collect h4, which it does.
King g3.
But now you can move the knight freely. Yeah, knight goes to f6 and then to e4.
G3. Okay, it's still kind of
Yeah, he's still
important to not.
he's not sure how to.
It's not that easy actually.
King f4.
Because how do you target this h4 pawn?
Maybe king g4 now. I think could have been a great move. Because if you took the bishop c5.
Yeah.
Now knight f4 forces the win, but
No, they miss.
yeah, it was missed. He can go back.
Now he hopes for 96. Okay, he
Yeah,
finds
knight
it now.
f4.
Okay, yeah, it's time to resign. But he can still play on and hope for like a g5 blunder.
Yeah, that would be.
I'm sure he's going for that. I mean, look, g5. No. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
He resigns. Wow. Okay, so that's.
What a marathon game, but in the end,
yeah.
Daniel Compel takes the
You
lead.
have to flip the
Board.
board.
And we have an Albin counter gambit. So
Okay.
obviously Anton feels like he has to score a victory with black in this one. He had some chances, but I feel like in general Daniel has spent a bit too much time, but his play has been really solid. So I think Anton, what he needs to do is he needs to put pressure on the clock. He needs to play quickly, and he needs to be okay with being a little bit worse in the middle game, and then he needs to try to use 1 or 2 extra minutes in order to win the game.
I'm not sure if Dan is a d4 player, because if you're not, you have no idea how to play against the Albin counter gambit.
But you kind of know you can play a3 and it's
yeah, but you
fine.
might play e3 because it's the most logical move.
But everyone knows that. Everyone knows this trap with e3 bishop b4,
Yeah,
where
true.
you. But how does that even go?
You
it on the
take
last
on. Oh wait, yeah, it's e3.
Yeah, is e3 here, right?
But even then, like e3 is not very good in that position.
And this is another way.
Yeah, I guess you go a3 here, and then you go b4, bishop b2, and you're going to lose the e5 pawn. But
you can put the knight here also. But yeah, this is, I think, a very solid way. Just give back this pawn and put pressure on the d4 pawn with bishop b2. I think this is very, very sensible. But I'm not sure if he's.
It's just important. Bishop b2, queen e7. Don't take the pawn. I swear to God, he's going to play queen e7.
I mean, it's such a playing for tricks move. Yeah. I think honestly, Daniel Compel has mixed something up here, because I know that there are definitely ideas where you just give this pawn back, but
I mean,
this version of it does not impress me at all.
Say like e3, for example. Oh wait, then you can take on e3.
Yeah, e3 now is seriously risky. I would want to do something against these queenside pawns, but with that bishop, you just can't really do it.
Maybe you have to like take and play g3.
I think you should take and play g3, but then queen e7 could be annoying.
Knight b3 is strong though, I think.
But again, queen e7, there's some pressure here.
Now on g3.
Yeah, g3 would be a not so talented move. You could also play the move knight to d2.
Yeah,
defending the
amazing.
c4 pawn.
Imagine he's like going to play queen d2 and he accidentally presses the knight before.
No, but I think in all seriousness, knight takes c5, doesn't that look just really strong? And then just take with the queen or something?
I mean, yeah.
It looks like you're just much better now with white.
Yeah, that's kind of the typical thing with the Albin counter gambit. You can
my white is much better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, you can give back the pawn and you're gonna lose the c4 pawn. But on the other hand, this knight becomes a target. You could develop with e3. Oh, g7 is hanging. I didn't even notice that.
You didn't give up anything. Just taken g7.
Yeah, so
double bishops in an endgame. Daniel is gonna make this 3-0, or what do you think? He doesn't even have
3-1, but
3-1. I'm sorry, I forgot that Anton has 2 draws. What?
that's a bit
such
surprising.
a weird move. What does that one even accomplish?
I'm not
What?
sure.
I think that was a misclick.
I might be smart. You never know. Okay,
Yeah,
no, probably a
that was
mistake.
a move. Because now Anton is sort of back in it. That's so strange. He was
It's
probably
very
going to
unfortunate.
take here and then he just slipped. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And now he might have hung knight a3, I think.
Yeah.
No, he didn't, because the a1 square is covered. Like knight a3 takes.
Oh yeah, you
takes,
can go.
Check, bishop f1, bishop c4 is almost checkmate, but rook a1, and white actually wins. So let's hope that Anton has done his tactics and realizes that that is not a possibility. But what?
I guess you can go knight e2.
He sees that knight a3 is possible.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he wouldn't stop it here. The question is, will he find? Yeah, he does find the entire line. So and Compel reasonably plays this move h3. Now I would be very curious about move a4. The problem is, I guess, that b4 just works because this one is protected.
Yeah.
So you have to prepare it, like rook c3, rook c1, and then you go a4. But another problem is you can never really do that, because if, say that you were allowed to play both those moves, then I will take on a3.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're just facing these two. So honestly, black is just better here, I think. It's difficult.
I mean,
even though
bishop f3, what about that? Planning to go bishop b7? I guess you can go knight d2.
he goes with the bishop again to c3. I guess the point is a4. I guess that makes a lot of sense. You need the move.
But wait, could you take on a3 there and rook takes b4?
That might very well have been a possibility. Now, actually, white is very much back in the game, because rook goes down, and now maybe when you've opened the position like this, the bishop pair can start to tell. Bishop is able to block the pawn on b4 for now.
But that
he just goes.
Now it's just gonna be an opposite color bishop.
Yeah, he just
endgame, right?
He just tries to make a draw here with bishop takes c4. Very much a missed opportunity for Daniel. He had such a good position. Honestly, his play in this game is not really impressive at all.
I mean, I guess unless he played bishop c3 on purpose, you know, it was kind of
yeah. If it was a mouse slip, it's a mouse slip. That everybody understands that.
Because he's gone back and forth from c3 and d4 like a billion times.
But he made this as well, which is not the most impressive king maneuver either. And now he again repeats bishop d4 c3.
I mean, if you want to draw, just exchange rooks, right?
Yeah, but it's not so easy to exchange rooks, I believe, because on rook e1, white is definitely not gonna exchange. Black is gonna try to put the rook on c2.
Yeah, now kind of black is.
I think black is kind of seriously pressing, because if he can get the king here, then who knows?
It's not easy.
Definitely, this is not as easy of a draw as Daniel hoped. King e4.
Maybe. Yeah, king e4. Obviously, can't play f3 because the king will be hanging.
Plays g5, tries to get this pawn to g4. And
he lost on
wins
time.
on time.
Wow, that's unfortunate for Daniel.
That's insane. He lost that game.
Yeah.
And finally, we have a proper move. We have one e4 from Anton, and the Sicilian. This is gonna be okay. Yeah, as soon as I said that, he plays a3.
Because g6 is what we'll see. Daniel is a classical Sicilian player, right? So d6 is likely, but the easiest way is just g6, because then b4 is not really an option.
Most people, I think, know that game aborted. That's very strange.
What up? Okay. What?
They abort twice, so that they get the right.
That's smart.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Maybe they're just gonna make the same.
Oh yeah, they're gonna make the same.
I have no idea what happened.
No, and he plays g6. And do you think? Yeah, we will see h4. I actually faced this quite recently as black, and I did not play the right move. I was kind of scared.
Against which opponent?
Against the Swedish opponent called Peter Halvarsson.
Oh, okay.
In the rapid portion of Elite Hotels Open.
Oh, okay.
And I think I played on h5, but that's you can it looks a bit scary, but you should and can just go for this
I
and
think
this,
I've seen that. Yeah.
and you're just winning almost.
Okay.
But this is what I did, and I eventually won that game pretty easily. I just played e6, knight e7, and bishop g7, and my opponent had no idea what to do as long as he couldn't use the h pawn to attack. But I'm sure Anton is a better player than my opponent was in that game, and I think he will drum up much more than I did, than my opponent did. So I think this knight d4 is very premature. I'm not sure why you would put the knight there so early. Because knight e2, and then you're gonna want to trade this off. I feel like black is not really putting the pieces on the right squares here.
I mean, the thing is, you just gotta play quickly. Like this 0.5, 0.2 difference move doesn't really matter. Just don't lose on time like you did last game.
Yeah, that's true. Also, once you've lost on time, you should just play blitz.
Yeah, I mean it is blitz, so
It is blitz, so you should play blitz as well. But yeah, he does not seem to follow that advice. And
yeah, I guess he's a bit scared of castling. He shouldn't be though. He might be considering something like bishop e6.
Yeah, I was considering bishop e6. I'm not sure why you would hurry to castle.
Yeah,
You can always
the thing is
castle.
with bishop e6, knight takes d4. Maybe you can just take on a2.
Yeah, I was just gonna take back.
Yeah, that also works.
But honestly, yeah, take on a2 is definitely.
It's just a bit weird if you like take back on d4, take on e6, f takes e6. You can maybe go knight e2 and then to f4, but
I
and
can
the
play
G6.
e5.
Yeah, it's just the
But all
g6
of
pawn is a bit
He
weak.
does go bishop e6. I'm wondering if takes. Do you think he'll throw in knight f5 just to try to wreck the
That's interesting.
pawn structure a little bit? I think that might be a pretty decent idea.
I mean, you could also go something like knight d5 instead of just taking on d4. Or maybe you just take on e6. I don't know.
Also,
Oh. Okay, yeah, that's pretty embarrassing, but
how long have we had this for? Okay, not so long. Yeah, not long at all. It's fine. Okay, so what happened? He took on d4, right? And now Daniel is currently thinking here. He has obviously two options. Another option is you can take, and if you take on e6, then I take on c3.
exactly.
Honestly, that's the best one of them. Yeah, and he goes for that. Why would you not do that?
But you don't have to take on e6.
No, but if
What even happened?
I don't really know what happened there.
Perfect. Okay, so what happened then? We had takes and then knight e2, not even taking on e6, and then take.
I think that was forced because our line with bishop takes e6 was a pretty horrible line because black just takes on c3, and then you
What
have to
happens on
retreat.
knight e5 instead of knight e2 though?
I think that was also that would perhaps also have been a mistake because after knight takes d5, e takes d5, you can actually just take that pawn. And,
oh yeah, that's true.
And I think you're just winning the game with black. So I think knight e2 was definitely a good choice from Anton. And now we've seen this move pawn to c3. He's trying to undermine the center. I think it's a very interesting position here.
It is interesting, but let's not forget that Daniel has 30 seconds again.
And I think this is what Anton should have been aiming for last game, and he didn't get it, but he won on time anyways.
Yeah.
But I think this is bad news for Daniel. He has only 30 seconds, and the position is so much worse than it was, for example, last game when he could have just taken on g7 and won. And now all of a sudden he has to play moves, and Anton is just so much ahead on the clock. And I kind of feel like it's very easy to play white. You just bring the pieces to the open files.
Exactly.
You could try to make such a push as well, like c4, knight c3, bishop takes f6 at the right moment. You can try to swap that bishop with bishop to h6. You can try to limit the black queen side pawns with a4, a5, or try to at some point get the rook to b2 and put some pressure here. As I said that, Anton is actually starting to think, but he chooses this plan of c4. I quite like this plan. Just try to bring this knight to c3. Because black was also eyeballing a doubling here, but with this pawn, it doesn't really make so much sense to double like this. And I think Anton is just better here, and I think he will win this game.
Okay, so knight b5. That's interesting.
Yeah, so he's pressuring here. Obviously, Daniel felt like this d5 square had to be defended, but it created this weakness. Now he's gonna try to push d5 here, and I guess the game now is gonna revolve around whether he can do that successfully or not, and he just does it instantly. And this is very interesting because a7 is hanging. We shouldn't forget about that. I'm not sure if
So
he can
it's-
take it, but it is hanging.
But queen a7, maybe you can just take on c4.
Yeah, he takes on d5 first, and he pushes e5, but knight
That's-
g4.
Now take on a7, you can take on e5, right? You don't want to take on a7, I don't think. But
He
yeah,
takes,
bishop takes e5 is strong.
takes with the bishop.
And now I don't like White's position that much anymore.
Yeah, he definitely did not. He underestimated this move d5, I think, and now Daniel has played very quickly and very strong from that position, and Anton is also starting to fall a bit lower on time. Obviously, still has a lot of time advantage, but earlier it was 2.5 minutes. Now he's down to 50 seconds. Clearly, his position is worse than last, and if you change queens, you have to move the knight. If you don't, well, then maybe this queen is gonna be able to.
And also,
join
kind of
in
the problem
attack.
is that if you change queens, where do you move the knight?
And actually, oh no, I'm joking. I thought I missed this bishop. So they changed queens. But that has to be a success for Anton to be able to. And 2 seconds. Whoa.
Yeah.
He has to.
Just play moves. Bishop g7 or something.
Oh, he's playing with fire. I think he's gonna lose some time. He's really playing with fire.
Knight takes. It's down to bullet now.
But he doesn't really play like
96,
bullet.
just play.
Knight c7 would be a horrible. Or actually, it's not such a horrible idea. You could do it and then put.
Yeah, but the 98. Oh, wait, I'm just kidding. It's not. In that anymore.
Yeah, I guess we're expecting maybe 97 because rook c8, rook c2.
Well, maybe you can play rook a7 instead.
Rook b1 played. Change knights. Rook d6 played. So definitely Daniel will be very happy with the draw here. He should be moving quickly now. In order to avoid losing on time. Again, he activates his rook. And now he puts the rook on d1.
But this is good for him, right? I mean, it's
King
not
e5?
bad. Oh, wait, that's annoying.
That's very annoying.
Rook d7. Yeah, so rook e1 next, I guess.
Oh, that's tricky. You can't take this one, but you can take that one. But then rook e7 maybe.
No, then d5 is hanging by
then
rook
d5.
e1, right?
6.
Oh, that's tricky.
Oh,
but-
that's clever. But king e6 is
Oh, that's
also
fair.
clever. And now, actually, f6 was turns out to be a big mistake.
Yeah, but
because-
then d4 is hanging, right? Oh, that's. Oh, what's happening? Rook f8. Do something. Okay,
what's going on
you just take. Do something. I don't know. This is stressing me out.
here? Yeah.
Play.
Oh my god, he's down to.
He's got barely 1 second whenever he plays his moves.
But he's winning this one now.
Yeah, you just pre-move rook takes a4.
No, that's not a good idea, probably. They swap. Rook
Rook a5.
a5. Rook is
rook-
gonna enter the
No,
game.
f5. Do something. Or g5. Okay, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
swapping the pawns is a generally very clever idea.
Um,
And now you should just keep on doing that.
Take on
He
g2.
gets g2.
Okay, he's actually not that much low on time now. And, you know, he's got winning chances.
He's
even.
got serious winning chances. Push the h pawn.
Yeah, and f3 is hanging. Whoa. But he can't really lose this either, because the rook can always sacrifice
Yeah,
for the
that's
pawn.
true. You can only lose this on time now. But just push. And just give that rook. And you start
G4.
pushing.
Oh wait, g4 is just winning immediately, no? g4 and then d8 takes g3 is is that theoretically what?
I don't know. But this one is very close.
Oh, but there's one move away, no?
Yeah, I think so. You have to
Or
push.
g4, g3.
Yeah, you have to push g4. But he has 3 seconds. He cannot
g3.
Why is he thinking?
0.3 seconds. You just go
Okay,
for
yeah,
it. Go
he
for the
just-
draw. Go for
he
the draw.
just
Go
goes
for the
for
draw.
the draw.
Oh my god, that stressed me out. We've got 3 draws.
But he did that. He played g3 with like 0.2 seconds.
Oh, this is actually such a stressful game.
0.2 seconds.
Wow. Okay. Oof. We've got a knight of 6 accelerated Queen's Indian.
And we have a 2.5 square. It's such a pity that we have such a match that is completely irrelevant for the standings and for the playoffs and everything. Because had this been the first round of the playoffs, I think we would have been very excited at this point, because then there would have been a lot at stake. Now, well, there's not so much at stake. But anyways, it's a very interesting match. I think the players are definitely feeling the adrenaline at this point. I know from playing in this format myself that you definitely get the adrenaline going, even if it's completely irrelevant to the standings or to the match situation. These type of even matches are always super stressful, and it's actually a joy to play in. So I think the players are really enjoying themselves right now. That being said, I think White is just quite good here, right?
Yeah, the thing is, Anton was playing this accelerated Queen's Indian, and Daniel was just trying to transpose. And the way Anton reacted to that was to play d5 immediately without the support of e6, which basically gives White the entire center. I don't know how to explain it, like kind of a reverse Grünfeld, maybe? But
yeah, a Grunfeld, but you took on d5 and went back and lost a couple of tempo. And you didn't take on c3 either.
Yeah. No, but like I meant like a reverse from the queen side.
But now it's a normal Grunfeld because he
he
finished it here, and sometimes you do finish shadow on
True,
the queen side in the Grunfeld.
It's quite rare you don't take on c3.
Yeah, you usually take on c3.
But it could be like one of those Grunfelds against the Catalan where you just don't go c6 d5 but d5 immediately.
Yeah, but it's a horrible version. it's the horrible.
No, but like I don't know why I went for this.
Now already
knight b5 is very.
It doesn't work because e4 is hanging, but it almost works. And you can look into ideas of bishop d6. You could also, I would probably just push here.
Yeah, d5 without thinking is what I would have done. Just make sure you're not losing the pawn.
Yeah, and this pawn is such a good pawn.
Yeah.
It looks more or less unimpressive, but such a pawn on d6 is so dangerous.
Like, what I would love to do is black is just play 98, 96, but that just doesn't work at all.
Yeah, you're never in time for such a
move. And even then, like the bishop.
But I like this move. H is you gotta try to get rid of the bishop. Try for some counterplay. Daniel is once again running low on time, and that's Anton's way to victory in this one.
Yeah.
Just play 95 quickly and just move on with your life, really.
Yeah.
I think.
Or maybe you can play like bishop d6.
G4. I like this move.
That's true.
I really like this move. Getting this bishop, because you want this bishop on the diagonal, and you're stopping knight h5, stopping. G5 is possible, but now you just drop back in, so G5 makes no sense.
Maybe you can like try to exchange the pieces as black here. Let's say rook e8, and if it's your turn again, you take on e1, and if queen takes d5 is hanging, but you can take with a knight. But yeah, I don't know.
But even so, rook e8, I think maybe white just perhaps improves the queen to d3 here.
Yeah.
Or queen d2 as well. I think what black should do is try to get some queens at play going, but it's not possible. If you play a6, white.
What about you just play b5 immediately though?
And that one was also hanging.
But you can play g5, right? And then bishop g3, b5. I was thinking.
Yeah, you could have done something like that, but maybe there would have been some knight takes b5. There's a pretty nasty pin here. There's some knight d6 ideas always.
Yeah, I mean your position is just bad.
Yeah, but on the other hand, how do you improve with white? Probably you could take, but then black takes with the knight, I suppose, to try to get closer to this d6 square.
But even then, just rook e1. Rook d1, I don't see anything wrong with that. Now all your pieces are good, and maybe you can play g5.
Now I think you should just
a4. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, always make sure that he can't play b5 easily.
What happens on b5 here now then? So,
well, that's very interesting.
I guess takes, and if knight takes, you can take on d5 with the not bishop.
You have to take with an.
You have to take with a knight, but then knight d6, right? Or you can take on e8.
That's a very strong move. Trying to get the knight to c5. That's a good response. The move rook 81 is somehow a bit too.
But what happens if you like try to push d6? I guess that's kind of useless because you're opening up for the b7 bishop, but you kind of have these.
I mean, it's never useless because this pawn is always strong.
Of course, it's amazing.
But obviously this is a counterplay idea, and with 30 seconds, again, it's always the time. Can you play this with?
What about knight d4 and then go to c6?
Yeah, that's very much a possibility. Black will just keep going for his idea, I think. 19 seconds. I have a feeling Anton is gonna take this game. It feels like playing this with 10 seconds, you had a much better position before. It feels like this is gonna be scary. It goes 94 though, and now I guess you just play this one more or less instantly, asking White what you really came up with on that long thing. That knight is coming to d3 with a 4. He goes knight c6.
What if you take on d2? You have to take with the bishop, right? Because otherwise e1 is hanging. So after bishop takes knight d3, but still that c pawn is so
He
strong.
goes queen d7. That's very strange.
Yeah,
because
I
now you can take this pawn.
Oopsie.
Queen d7 is.
And also, how do you defend f7?
Queen d7 is a horrible move. I think you should.
Yeah, you have to.
He just has to exchange sacrifice, but obviously this was not his plan. Maybe it's not so horrible. Knight d3.
Oh yeah, that's true. Knight d3, but that's kind of forced now. You really don't want to take on a4, and you're ruining kind of your entire plan with knight
yeah,
d5.
you should go knight d3. I don't know why he's even thinking about this.
It takes the pawn, okay.
That's just not the way to go. Now queen to d4, centralizing the queen, or queen to c3 as well. That was just not the way to go. A pawn is not worth that much.
Yeah, especially when you're Mateo down, you know?
Yeah, but even
1 second.
Rookies. Oh, he had 1 second. I completely forgot about his time.
Play!
Oh, but he's not even winning this because of his low time. Wow.
Okay, that's strong though. That's a strong move to play with so little time.
But you're not able to get such a position and not win because of your time.
Okay.
That's just, you can't afford that.
Luckily, it's 2 second increments, so it should be okay.
And the position is so winning.
Yeah,
if he doesn't win this, like, you can't expect to win a match if you don't convert from here. Because this is
bishop
like...
c8, d6.
I guess you could try to take and put the knight on d6, but rook d7, and you do lose pieces. So it will be all about if Anton is able to pose a question.
You'd want to keep the queens on the board, but that's impossible.
Yeah, it's just impossible because nothing was. Now this knight is just hanging.
Yeah.
But once again, he doesn't find it.
Okay, but still winning.
But you gotta be able to convert better than this, even if you don't have time. Like,
yeah, d6 next. Just play d6 and then bishop b7 or something. Maybe you can even like.
But now it's a game. It's not easy to convert from here.
Bishop b7.
That's. I mean, it's just not. It's just not good to not win from there. Bishop d5.
Bishop d5. He's got 1 second.
And he loses on.
No, he played. It was a lag. Oh no! Oh, he lost some time now. No way, that's so unfortunate. Oh my god. Wow.
You just can't afford to have such positions and not win. The knight was hanging in one move.
Yeah. Well, okay. He's got to play quicker this game, surely.
Yeah, you gotta play quicker. After having that made to you, you must play quicker.
So we've got like a Sicilian type position, but with bishop b2 and now e4. Yeah, I don't know. This reminds me kind of Alirez's game against Jan Pomnici, but he's playing the Queen's Indian accelerated as both sides. I guess.
Yeah, I still can't really get over that Daniel lost that
That's
game.
so unfortunate.
And he played really, really nice chess, and but you know, the problem is in such a blitz match, if you don't convert when you're playing the same opponent a couple of times, if you don't convert on those chances, your opponent will get chances himself, and he will convert from there.
Yeah.
So, but to Daniel credit, it looks like he's playing a little bit quicker, and obviously he has been the better player throughout this match. I definitely think that is the case, and although he's not leading the score, that's 95% because of his time usage. If he's able to just play almost the same
play
level
bishop
of
a6 here or something.
If he's able to have almost the same level of chess play and play a minute quicker, he will be having great chances to get back into this game. And already I think he's pushing this pawn to a3. White is forced backwards.
Maybe you can like go for d4. That's maybe not now, but in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, what about bishop a6? You're threatening c4. Bishop b7, I also like that. Just c5 next, maybe.
But when Anton is doing well, is he's just not really carrying. He's just playing moves quickly. Yeah. And this is what you have to do in such a format. And this is obviously what makes him win.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not better than Daniel at the board. Probably he's even worse in this match. But he's winning the games even though he's losing on the board.
Yeah, exactly.
Because maybe sometimes he provokes a blunder, and sometimes he even just wins sometime, even in losing positions. So
Okay, so I guess that makes sense. You're just utilizing these weak dark squares and maybe have ideas of taking on d5 as well because the c pawn is pinned.
yeah, I like the move. And again, Daniel is spending a little bit too much time.
I would probably go c5 here.
Yeah, I would probably look at that too.
And then
Because
try to go
also,
bishop c6
White
or
has
d4.
somewhat of a threat to play pawn to c5 here, which would just essentially collect that
Yeah.
pawn. So,
But if you go c5, then you can take on a3 anyway.
well, yeah, that's unfortunate. And now c5.
Yeah,
And as we were talking
knight
about,
e4 move was so strong. I think maybe you can play bishop a6, take on a3, take, and then play bishop b5.
there's a fork here.
Oh, he's okay. This is not good for Daniel. If he loses this game, he loses the match, which is so unfortunate considering the last game.
Yeah, but it's also sort of what happens here. Like if you don't win when you're better, and you don't come back from the losing positions, then obviously you're gonna lose the match.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's how it is.
Yeah.
But we've seen Anton come back from much worse. Maybe Daniel can make a comeback in this one. But obviously, he's already done a minute. White has a very much pleasant position. I think bishop h3 is the move I would have chosen. Just reactivating this bishop.
And you're also training to take, yeah.
Yeah, you could also consider, okay, he just plays it slowly. Go e3.
Like the thing is, you're happy with the draw here as well, or maybe you're not. I'm not sure.
I think you're not, because you just want to take the match home, and Anton knows that if Daniel starts, but now he gives this one back.
That's not very good. Now he's back in the game, and
yeah, now he's very much back in the game. Because also I don't think you're better because there are ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, b4, b5 can be a bit annoying.
But the problem is b4 knight e6. The knight has to go to e6.
Yeah, because it's defending c7, so there's no knight takes d5.
But b5 again. Just cb5 and
yeah, and then the
knight
is pinned
as well. So, or actually, okay, yeah, b5. Maybe you can. Take
I guess you
bishop.
Can go
b5 even was a move there.
Yeah, if I was white, I'd try to go.
But now you're just better. Now I agree with you. Black is just better. If he's able to consolidate such a center. And we can see Daniel is playing quicker. He had a lot less time.
He's still playing slower than Anton though, so it is Anton that is going to have the time advantage.
But maybe a little bit less than previous games. And now we have this. But obviously Daniel is gonna feel somewhat of a pressure now because he's back in the game and he wants to win this now.
Yeah, if he wins, that's 3.5 to 3.5. That's just
that would be very exciting. But now, okay, knight to e2, pressuring here.
Yeah, maybe f6.
Quick play from Anton. You could also go queen e6.
But why, yeah, that's probably the best. But you got no time. You gotta play a normal move, just f6 or bishop f6 or bishop d6.
He
just
should
defend
not
the pawn.
Be taking so much time. Again, he's made this.
Yeah, bishop f6. I think that's smart to just play simple. Play d4 if that's possible. Yeah, bishop b3. That's strong. Yeah, rook e1, d4, or rook d8 as well.
Yeah, he needs to start playing quicker before he gets to that massive time pressure. Because in that time pressure, you are gonna lose or make blunders or even lose in time. So this is the moment where you should start, almost blitzing.
The question is how you continue here as black. c5, I like that.
That's an idea because the only thing white has is really this two nice pawns on the queen side.
If you activate that e6 knight and get it
now
to
you have to put the bishop back on c4, or he even puts it on a4.
Yeah, I mean you defend e5. It makes sense.
I even missed that was a possibility.
But d4 now is kind of dangerous, and also e4.
Yeah, queen goes back, and bishop immediately put on b5.
I think that's smart. Now maybe d4.
I think you want to keep the bishop. Yeah, bishop goes to c4. If the bishop falls, then your position sort of loses a little bit of point. I would just he just goes for it.
Yeah, that's smart.
Knight takes d4. That's clever.
Remember queen d2. There's knight f3.
Yeah, so you have to play queen to
That's so depressing
Queen
though.
to e4.
Yeah, queen to e4 maybe is smart.
This feels so wrong though. Bishop d5, I like that.
Yeah, knight takes, pawn takes.
Because you have such a nice center here.
But maybe you shouldn't exchange. I don't know.
Yeah, it's...
Whoa.
Oh!
That's smart. Queen takes, you have to take with the queen.
But now black...
You gotta take with the queen. Go!
But now black is losing this one, so now black is
Oh,
back to being
yeah.
losing.
But d3... But that doesn't work. You can just go rook d1.
Oh.
Anton is gonna
With
win
rook.
this.
Yeah,
That
no,
doesn't
there's
work.
nothing. In 2 seconds, and he loses on time.
No, he plays d2 last second.
But
Okay.
he got to...
Yeah, but it's lagging. Rook e1, king g2, rook e1. Oh, yeah, now he lost on time. Whoa. Okay, so Anton won that match. Wow. All the games he won was on time, I think.
But this one was fair. He was gonna win the one. But...
Yeah. Wow. Should we...
Yeah, we can see if it's working. If they are... I heard their sound was a little bit poor before. We can see.
Okay. Hey, you can say something.
Okay, can you guys hear us? Seems very questionable. I guess maybe we should just leave it at that, yeah.
Hello.
Oh no,
No,
maybe they can hear us now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Wow, that was very stressful to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can start with you, Anton. What did you think about the match?
Yeah, I don't know. I just tried to play fast as usual, and he played so slowly. So I don't know. I got a bit bored almost, so I played too fast. But it
Oh, yeah,
somehow
momentarily.
it worked.
I think like almost every single game you won, Anton, or it was every single one, was on time.
Yeah, but yeah,
I mean, you should
one
have
of
won this
them,
one for sure, but
last one I should have won. One I lost, or one on time I was losing, but in the end, like at the last move, it was kind of interesting. But because I had this knight
alright,
x
yeah, that's true.
d6 tactic and stuff, so it got a bit unclear. And also in the first one, I think it was a draw or something. I don't know. I don't really remember. There was a lot of opposite bishop colored endgames. Somehow, like from crazy positions, when I'm always like an exchange down, we managed to come to these opposite color bishop endgames.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened, but yeah.
Yeah, Daniel, what did you think about the match?
It's like I got into time trouble every single game, I guess. And
Yeah.
I have to play like faster, I guess. But I know it seemed to me like almost every game I was winning, or some games I like managed to just simply draw with black, but you know, then something always happened.
Yeah, we had the same impression that you had a winning position, but losing on the clock, and I guess the clock just told. Anyways, we're very happy that you guys played here, and next games you play will be in the playoffs with elimination. So thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Yeah, thanks.